Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about SSG, SPA and SSR, from what those terms mean to the advantages and disadvantages of each rendering method. SSG. It stands for Static Site Generation, which means that we create our HTML files at build time, meaning the server already has pre-rendered HTML files you can serve to the client. It's mostly used for sites where content doesn't change very often, like blog or documentation sites. Let's see how SSG works in a diagram. First, we make a request to the server. Requesting some HTML file, it really doesn't matter. In this case, it's index.html. The server responds very quickly because the HTML file was pre-rendered at build time with the HTML file, meaning that our client sees a white blank page for a very short time in relative to other techniques we will see. And from then on, the site is completely rendered. SPA. It stands for Single Page Up. Using this technique, all of our site's content is generated from JavaScript. SPA is mostly used for highly interactive sites that don't have any content, just like Excalibur, the site I currently use for making this video. The main disadvantage of SPA is that running JavaScript takes time, meaning our client sees a white blank page for a long time, especially if his internet connection is slow. The second big disadvantage of SPA is that web crawlers, which are used by search engines to decide which sites to recommend, don't run your site JavaScript, meaning they will see a blank page and not recommend your site. Let's take a look of an SPA site which is highly used. Let's go to Twitch. As you can see, Twitch takes time to load. What happens if we disable JavaScript? As you can see, Twitch is just loading and nothing is coming up. Let's see what happens if we try to load Twitch with a slow internet connection. This is with a regular internet connection, and as you can see, it loads really fast. But if we move to a slow 3G internet, see how much time it takes us. You can see here that it just loads everything very slow, and still the site is still loading. Well, I think it's enough. I think you get the point. It's very slow. Now let's see how SPA works in a diagram. Just like in the example we saw before, we request index.html. The server responds with the file we asked for, and then we want to load the JavaScript. So we ask the server for a JavaScript file. A server or some CDN, it really doesn't really matter in this context. The server responds with JavaScript. For all this time, the user sees a blank page. It doesn't see anything. Then we move to the loading state. This is where the JavaScript runs, and we can see loading spinners all over our page. And when we run the JavaScript, we might make a request to some external API and ask for some data using fetch or something else. And only then, after we ran all the JavaScript and got a response from the third-party API, our site completely rendered. SSR, server-side rendering. Using this method, we load and then run the JavaScript on the server before serving it to the client. The trade-off we make here is that we need to run the JavaScript twice, so our page will be interactive. SSR is mostly used by sites that aren't highly interactive and do have static content. The main advantage of SSR over SPA is that the client sees content relatively faster using this method. The second advantage of SSR over SPA is that web crawlers will be served with static HTML. Thus, there is a higher chance your site will be recommended by a search engine. The main disadvantage of this method is that it takes more time to fully render the page, but usually it's a trade-off which is fine to make. Let's move to a diagram. First, we make a request to the server requesting index.html. The server runs the JavaScript, maybe makes a request to some third-party API or something like that, but it runs the JavaScript and renders the content and serves the client with the content, but the content is static, it's not interactive at this point. Then the client asks for the JavaScript and server responds with it. All this time the site is rendered but not interactive. Now we run the JavaScript for the second time on the client, so the site will be interactive. It's called iteration. And only by then our site is completely rendered. Alright, I hope you found this video interesting. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more guides related to web development, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!